Hello, my name is Hassan Kinley, and today I'm going to balance this Sony a7 IV with the 24-70 2.8 Mark II lens on this DJI RONIN RS3 gimbal. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to pay attention to is the riser. We're going to take the riser plate, which is this, and we're going to take that off of the camera plate, which is this, and we're going to put the riser on the bottom of the camera, the 1/4-20 threading there with the camera screw, and we're going to twist this and turn it until we get it nice and tight. Make sure that the riser is in this position on the camera, and then once that's nice and tight, we're going to put the riser back onto the gimbal, and then we're going to lock the latch. That's step one. Step two, we're going to balance all the motors, but we're going to start with the tilt motor, which is the motor that's on the right hand side. This motor is the only motor that you have to balance the camera in two positions. You have to balance it horizontally and also vertically. So we're going to start with the horizontal. Each motor has a lock. I'm going to unlock the tilt motor, and then you see the camera automatically tilts forward. That means that the lens is front heavy, and now we need to bring the camera back so it doesn't tilt forward anymore. We're going to bring it back and then back, and you're going to see it's getting closer and closer. Now it's tilting back slightly, and that's what you want. You want to get it right in the center so it's not tilting backwards, nor is it tilting forward. And we're close now, so slight increments, and there you go. And we're going to tighten this latch, and now we're going to turn the camera and face it towards the ceiling. And once we do that, if I let it go, it's going to tilt backwards. So now we got to do the vertical balance. And that's this arm here. We're going to loosen this latch. And then since it's tilting backwards or towards me, I'm going to push the arm forward. And I'm going to do that until it stops tilting backwards. And then it starts to stand straight on its own, like it's doing now. Once we do that, we'll tighten this latch. We'll bring the camera back horizontally. Now it's going a little bit back. We're going to loosen this latch again. Sometimes you have to do this twice on the tilt motor. Once we do the vertical, horizontal, then we do the vertical, you might have to come back and do the horizontal again, which is fine. Let's move this back slightly. Now it's just slight increments, and that's good. So our tilt is almost done. I bet that's it right there. So now that's good, and tilt it up this way. This is off, it's still going forward. I'm going to bring it back just slightly, and now that's good. I'll do a quick little test. I'll test my horizontal plane. It's tilting down slightly. Bring it back and lock it back down. Perfect. Just going forward a little bit and tilt this back. Perfect. Tighten that. So that's good. My vertical's still a little off. That's good. Excellent. So now, and you see how I took extra time to do that. It's worth taking the extra time to get it right than to get on set and your gimbal's not working, right? So take the extra time, make sure you balance it correctly before you get on set. Even if you're holding up the set or the shot, let them know you need this time so that you can get it right. So once your tilt motor is balanced correctly, now we're going to work on the motor in the back, which is the roll motor. I'm going to unlock the latch. And then you see that the camera rolls immediately to the right. That means that it's heavier on the right hand side. So I'm going to take the arm and I'm going to start to push it to the left. And now it's going to the left. That means that I went too far past the balance point. Now I'm just going to go back in increments a little bit. Remember, when you get close, then it's not about moving it like dramatically. It's really about these small increments. Now it's no longer rolling to the right nor the left. So this is good. Now lock the back motor. And now I'm going to work on the pan motor. The pan motor is the motor most people forget. And this is the motor that's most important in a lot of ways, because this is the motor that's going to keep the camera centered when you're moving straight and you don't want it to pan to the left and to the right. So if you don't balance this correctly and you want to go straight, the camera will lean gradually to the left or to the right, and it's going to mess up your shot. So you definitely have to pay attention to your pan motor. So what you want to do is unlock the motor. Once it's unlocked, you're going to tilt it on a 45-degree angle. And now you see that it pans to the left. Once it pans to the left or to the right, you know you have some balancing to do. You unloosen this latch. I'm going to bring it back a little bit. It's still panning to the left, but notice that it's not panning as much, right? And now it's panning to the right. That means I went too far back, and now I'm going to push it forward a little bit. Now you see that pan is slowing down a lot, but it's still going to the right. So I'm going to push it forward slightly. And now it's not panning to the left or to the right. So that means that it's centered. That means that I'm going to lock this latch back, and then I'm going to do my final test. Before you turn on the gimbal, and right before you do your final test, you want to make sure that all the motors are unlocked. You want to be able to move the camera around. I usually check my tilt by going up and down. I check my roll by going sideways, and I check my pan going left and right. Once I do that, then I'll put the camera in a certain position just to see if it stays on its own. If it stays on its own, that means that the gimbal is now balanced and the camera is on the gimbal successfully. Now I push the on button, I wait a few seconds, you're going to hear a bell, and then the gimbal is going to balance the camera based on the payload. Once you do that, then the gimbal is ready to go. Anytime you balance a new payload on the gimbal, meaning a new lens with a new camera body or vice versa, you always have to calibrate the gimbal. So you do that by pushing the calibration button on the back and then hit start calibration. You're going to see that the camera is now shaking and the gimbal is also shaking. What it's doing is it's measuring and weighing out this new payload, and the motors are getting ready for it by doing the shaking and the measurement. Once that's done, you're going to get a green check. Once you get the green check, you hit your arrow. So now the gimbal and the camera is ready to go. Now you're ready for action. You see how responsive the gimbal is? See how responsive the camera is? Very nice. Very nice. So that's how you do it, folks. I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. Next video, I'm going to show you guys how to set up the camera in portrait mode, as well as do a 360 feature and some other things. How to Bluetooth your start and stop with the camera so that you can start and stop from the gimbal and not from the camera as you're operating it, and some more things. So stay tuned.